What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So welcome to, this is season 4, episode 3. So as long as these numbers stay small, I can keep up with the number tracking. So welcome back to the show. We've changed the format slightly. All of our topics will be in one episode, like we used to do back in old school days, right? The black and white days of the podcast. And then look out for, I have a couple of Ask a CISSPs out there. So, right, look out for the one for Angela Diaz, a risk officer, really good interview. The one with Alan Wesley, where we talk agentic inference, where AI is able to take little bits of data that are unclassified and then, come up with a classified thought. So kind of scary stuff. So definitely check those both out. And then I have 2 more coming up in the near future. But you can check us out on your podcast platform of choice. We're also on 99.1 FM out of the Atlanta metro area. We're on the TuneIn app. So both of those are Tuesdays at 5 p.m. East Coast time. And then we're also on Channel 10 out in the DC Fairfax area, public access. There's new episodes dropping very soon. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. You know, when you said the old black and white days, it made me think. I started thinking of the video of the story of OJ, like how it's in black and white.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know why. It's just black and white. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. I don't know why. But anyway, this article comes from Ars Technica, written by Dan Gooden. And the title of this one is, Here's How Deepfake Vishing Attacks Work and Why They Can Be Hard to Detect. So I know this is something that's come up before, right? So like the AI-based voice cloning that is out there, right? It is like it is so much better than what it used to be. So like, you know how you used to watch like old movies and they would have would sound like that old computery type voice, right? And the voice intonations in it weren't that great, and you could tell it was choppy. It's so much better than that now, right? It's so much better. And as I'm reading this article and you're talking about it and how it's getting so much easier to do when more people are actually falling for this, right? To like they start divulging like credentials, going and clicking on malicious websites, things of that nature, because they think a loved one is having issues or whatever. It reminds me of Daniel has brought this up on the show a few times, right? Shout out to Daniel. You know, we miss you, man. But he has brought this up a couple times where he's talked about how he would have like a code word or something, you know what I mean?
Right.
Family. Remember, he used to talk about that. I'm like, man, that's a really good idea. This is why, right? Because this is becoming so prevalent now when it comes to the phishing, right? The voice phishing is what that stands for, right? But these scam calls are getting so much better because of it, right? And they actually have a workflow of phishing attack that they have in their article that's pretty interesting to look at, right? And they even have an optional section in here for caller ID spoofing, which that's old hat, right? Like that's something that's been getting done for who knows how long now, right? Because I mean, when you start having more and more things that go together, when you start having the voice that sounds like it, the phone number that is coming from, right? And in this day and age of social media, they may have some information that you've put out there that you don't realize can be used in these situations, right? People are out there on Facebook talking about how, you know, they may have a new baby or they have family or something like that. And that could be the type of stuff they use to kind of back up, they say who they are, right? So, the whole thing about having some type of like, I don't want to say like a secret, passphrase, right? Like that would probably work out best, but yeah, it's the way that they're doing this is just the voice samples that they're collecting. That stuff is out there now, right? You know, like, look, Ryan, me and you, we are in danger, man. Like we out here every week putting our voice out there.
Yeah, I was going to say we have hundreds of
Yeah,
hours.
so much time. We've probably said every word imaginable in the dictionary. Not really, but still, we've said enough, right? It's like when you watched Mission Impossible, how he would have the guy speak the thing, and then he had the voice thing that would
Right.
like say this phrase, right? But yeah, man, it's out there, right? And the spoofing, the vishing that they're out there doing. Be careful out there, folks. So just be mindful of the technologies that are out there and the fact that a fake voice can be used to generate some type of pretense to loved ones needing help. Don't put your guard down on this type of stuff. Make sure, like I was talking about, like the thing that Daniel has brought up before on the show, make sure you have some type of like passphrase or something specific that you know hasn't been put out there into the ether that someone else would know that they can reference, right? It's just it's getting real out there, y'all. AI will end us all. I'm just putting it out there. But Ryan, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get away from another, safety precaution. So when it came to voice. That used to be a banking thing, or it still is at some banks. And they're gonna have to get away from it. So even Sam Altman brought it up when he was just before Chat GPT 5 debuted. He was talking about, like, I can't believe banks are still doing this, yada yada yada. So he's kind of putting the seeds out there to let you know, like, hey, this is no longer viable because my pet project is able to do this. So it reminds me of, like, the GBLA rules, right? So the Graham Leach Biley Act. So GBLA has pretexting, right? So what they do is, in order for you, so you call your bank or you call any institution that has like a financial, either data collection or process in the background. So it could be a school, it could be a bank, or anything in between, and you're asking for something from the rep on the phone. They're supposed to do pretexting. It's supposed to be certain phrase or password or something that they have to ask you to confirm, or even just simple things like collecting the information that you've already provided the bank. They ask you those simple questions just to confirm it's you. It's called pretexting. It's a rule that exists within GBLA. But like you said, the fear is that people who are in the public domain, so to speak, right, like us, have said a lot of things, right? So it's going to become complicated because, like, I try to keep my guard up. Like, I always listen to the episodes, not for security, but to make sure I didn't say anything that was out of context, right? So I've said it, I've listened to it, I kind of know what I said, right? So I can kind of steer away from those things. Hopefully, I have some kind of awareness or some kind of cognition thinking, like, okay, like, I'm not going to say X or Y or Z. I try not to talk about vacations until after they're over, right? I don't really post about them most of the time while I'm out there. Like, just certain things I try to delay until I'm already back home. So I think the same thing goes for pet names and, certain birthdays and certain dates, right. We'll talk about, like, oh yeah, this is 1 year anniversary of the podcast and things like that, but that's something I wouldn't use necessarily with my bank, right? We'll try to keep as much private still private, but yeah, we're cooked, as the young kids would say. And AI can definitely put together a bunch of coherent sentences based upon what we said, right? But the hope is that there's countermeasures being built, right? If an AI can mimic you, then we should hopefully be able to build some kind of system that can suss out, you know, AI voices. But they are getting really good, so that is kind of scary.
We're cooked on fleek. Do the kids still say that? I don't know.
I don't think they say on fleek
Oh,
anymore.
oh, no. Those two don't even go together. I don't
We
know.
start flossing in the middle of the podcast.
Dabbing.
We're still hip.
I'm still cool. No, so like what you talked about with like the like giving a passcode and whatnot. Like I know alarm companies will do that too. So like the home alarms, like if you have a home security
Yeah.
system, they'll do the same thing. They'll be like, hey, what's the word? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's still something that's used out there. But you're right, man. Like it is something that we're gonna have to get away from. And Sam Altman with ChatGPT. Well, he's the Open AI CEO, right? It's not just ChatGPT. ChatGPT falls under Open AI. Am I right?
Yes, right,
Yeah. So like it may not just be Chat GPT out there, right? Like it may only be a matter of time before he's like, we got this one too, right? And we got this one and this one and this one. So
right.
yeah, it's only a matter of time before that happens. But yeah, man, we're definitely cooked, like you said, as the young crowd says, because we and the thing is, it's not even like you never do it with the intention of knowing this stuff can be used against you, right? Like that's
Right.
always the case. It's just like with social media, right? The stuff that you put out there, you're just trying to share with family, but the nefariousness that these people that don't have good intentions can use it for, it's just crazy. Like the amount of stuff that they could do with it in this day and age, man. It's just wild.
Yeah, yeah, and so not to derail us, but a quick thing that happened to me this past weekend. So I get a lot of spam calls. I always contemplate about changing my number, but it won't make a difference. They'll just call the new number. It's always recently, it's always been to finish a loan application, right? And I'm not taking out any loans. I'm sure with the amount that they send out, they are snagging some people who are taking out loans. So just because it doesn't necessarily apply to me, it's probably like 1,000 people it does apply to. So it's worth their time. But what I've noticed is now they'll begin to speak, right. So I pick up the phone. Is this Ryan Williams? And then they'll start talking, right. But now they cough while they're talking to make themselves sound more human. So it's like, oh, I'm Sam calling from I don't know, Green Tree Lending Company. Excuse me, and then she'll start talking again. So I was like, that is clever. Well, I mean, you easily trip it up by just start talking, and it'll keep talking over you. right? So it's like obviously it's not a human being; they can't hear you. But yeah, like they're adding human flaws in order to try to make you feel it's a real person. So just be careful out there. Like it's getting wild.
You know what I started noticing, like as like my financial situation and my credit got better, is when I
Mhm.
started getting all this stuff. I'm like, yo, wouldn't you like? Am I really the target?
Yeah, yeah. When I need, yeah, like what was back then, you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me. I needed this loan a decade ago. Now I'm over here trying to. I'm concerned. I'm like I'm trying to make sure I'm living beneath my means, and I got something in the savings. Like now you want to lend me some stuff? No, I do not want your credit card. Get out of my
So,
face.
you Credit Karma out here telling me how great my odds are for it now. I'm like, well, no.
Yeah, like you trying to set me back. But I'll give it to you, Shannon, for the next topic.
Man, that's funny. All right. The next one, man, go up here, is from cybersecuritydive.com. It's written by David Jones. And the title of this one is CISA Microsoft warned about new Microsoft Exchange server vulnerability. And when I saw this, I thought this was a tie-in to the one we did last week where China accused us of doing the year-long.
Right, right. Me too. Yeah. And I was hesitant because I was like, I've been on Microsoft for a couple weeks now, but hey, I'm sorry.
I mean, when you're popular, that's what happens, right? Like when you were
Yeah,
used by 90% of the world out there, right? Like this is what comes with it, right? You're not a $4 trillion company now, I think
yeah.
is yeah,
Four with a
trillion.
T.
Yeah, the T $1 trillion.
If you like to sponsor the podcast,
There will be no
holla at your
more.
boy.
There will be no more Microsoft articles. But what this is a flaw that allows for total domain compromise, right, on affected systems, right? And so it has to do with Exchange again, right? Again, one of the most utilized email applications out there, right? CISA and Microsoft actually put this warning out there, and they say it's a high severity vulnerability. And what it does is allows hackers to pivot from their on-premises version of the product to the cloud version and potentially gain control of the system, right? So it's one of those things where if you have an on-site system that you're managing, and you have a environment where you're also interacting with the cloud, they're saying this vulnerability allows it to go cross domain and not cross domain, but cross system infrastructure, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you would call it. Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
mean
to
that
think.
works. Cross environment.
Cross
I don't
environment.
know.
That's a better way to say it. Cross environment is what I'm looking.
Hashtag cross environment.
Hashtag, you gotta have hashtag. Hashtag. But but yeah. But they're tracking it with the CVE, right? The CVE is 2025 53786. But they say that the fix for this was back in April, right? So even though they're just now talking about it, the fix for it was released in their April updates, right? So every month, Microsoft, I'll tell you right now, so every second Tuesday of every month, you can expect to see something coming out from Microsoft. That's when they release, right? It's Microsoft Tuesday, as I've known it for years now, right? So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like Patch Tuesday or whatever. That's
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
you yeah
It,
would call it.
100% of the time they will have something on that second Tuesday of every month, right? So, but yeah, this was an April 2025 Exchange Server hotfix update. It, it's one of those things where if you're doing what you need to do and you're following what is good cyber hygiene, I'm not gonna say a lot of the time, but most of the time, things like this won't affect you, right? Like if it was something that was put out in April, we're in August now. You know what I'm saying? You're talking 4 months. You know what I mean? 4 months have gone by, and we're coming up on Microsoft Tuesday. For those of you who don't know, we record on Sunday and then get it out there. But we're coming up on Microsoft Tuesday, right? Patch Tuesday, to where we're literally 4 months past when this hot fix was put out there, right? So if you just go ahead and follow, good cyber hygiene, you do your patching regularly, make sure it's something that's in your rotation to where it's not new hat for you. This isn't a problem, right? Like, yes, you should be patching more often than once a month. Let me say that because there's stuff that comes out, right? You have your 0 days that may come out to where it may prompt a change in your schedule and how you need to do it. This right here, we see a lot of it to where it's like, yeah, there was a fix for this put out months ago or a year ago that all of a sudden is becoming a big deal because people aren't patching like they need to, right? And you'd figure in this day and age, it would be something that, and I do realize that you have these companies, big and small, that are shrinking their IT and cyber departments, right? Like I get it, I understand it, but you got to make that effort, or else it's way more trouble than it should be for something that is provided to you. Right? Like it's not like you're paying for Microsoft to patch it for you. They're providing it. You go to their site, you download it, you use your WSUS, your WSUS, or whatever it may be, whatever your patching profile. I don't want to say profile, but your
Right, or
routine
cadence or
cadence.
whatever.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, whatever that may be. Right. So yeah, just make sure you guys are paying attention to this out there. Right. Like I said, the CV is already out there. Right. Microsoft even released with CISA, they have a guidance on this vulnerability, right? In the hybrid exchange deployments and what you should do, like the cleanup efforts after you've done things. Like if you no longer use a hybrid environment, they even talk on here about how to clean it up, right? And how to do certain things to make sure that everything is good, right? There's a Microsoft Exchange health checker to determine if further steps are required, right? So you run the patch, you run the health checker, and then it'll say, all right, this is you're good, or you need to do something else, right? So like CISA, like I love everything that CISA does, and it's sad for me to see them losing funding and losing personnel as has happened in the last 6 months, right? But they provide a great service for it to that I'd hate to see go by the wayside and just have people rely on doing things themselves. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this, man? Enough of me talking.
No, you're good, and that's a good plug for the Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency, right? Because we've talked about in the past, like they even took down their website for like a very short period of time because of funding concerns. But that's where I got this information from, right? I pivoted to an article because I always like to get uh, a flavor or personality to go with the story, right? I just don't want to report things that come straight from the CISA website, even though it would be the most factual and robust. But that's when I have my consulting hat on, right? I'm using the CISA website to provide services. But when because we basically we provide texture to the news, right? We're not reporters. We don't create the news, but we sit here and pontificate about these articles or what have you. Um, yeah, CISA needs more money because they're doing an excellent job. So last Thursday, which was a couple days ago, they pushed out to the federal agencies, said patch immediately, right? This vulnerability, if you have not already, and you might say, well, why didn't they patch already? Large organizations such as the Department of Defense, the defense industrial base, things of that nature, they have to vet and test things before they just patch willy nilly, right? But when a federal organization like CISA comes down and says, "No, you need to do this now," then you're able to, change your cadence basically, and then patch immediately because you've been given federal guidance to knock this out. So it's a little bit different pipeline. You at home, whenever you see the update, right? Like whether it be your Chrome browser or your vulnerability, like your McAfee or whatever, your Windows Defender, or the operating system asks you for an update, you should probably just hit that button, right? There are some concerns. However, most likely you're pulling that patch right from the source. You don't have to worry about it. Unlike other organizations that are a little bit bigger, sometimes they have to get their own special instances so it doesn't break things, right? Because they're using Windows in a fashion that it wasn't necessarily designed for the 90% of us, 95% of us to use it. So when we're in the military, right, that was uh, Shannon and Rashawn, right? Like they're going through and making sure these patches wouldn't break specific code commands and things of that nature before they pushed it out. You and your mom and pop just hit that button, like stop delaying, right? It says update, update. I know you have 1,000 tabs open as we speak. You're gonna have to let them go and patch your system so you're not vulnerable. But that's pretty much all I have to add to this conversation, right? Like I think a lot of people overcomplicate it, right? Like if you're not, a Department of Defense agency or someone big enough where you need to vet these things, go ahead and hit the button. Yes, supply chain attacks do exist. For the vast majority of us who are using the system as intended, you pull it straight from Microsoft and your system will be patched.
Yeah, it's so much easier than it can be, but it is easy, right? Like if it does a very good job of sensing what is on your system, right? Like when you
Yeah.
go and do that check for updates, you know what I mean? Just check for updates, see what it says. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I have those things. Let me go ahead and install, download and install, right?
Yeah, for the vast majority of us, yeah. Because back in the day, you'd have to go to a website, you had to find the patch, and you had to patch it. Like, yeah, they've definitely streamlined the process. But if you are concerned, plug right here, Ram Cyber can hook you up. All right, like we go through here and we make sure that we're able to tailor our consulting to you and your business. So I will have the service offerings up soon. Right, the website's being overhauled, and I also have them up on LinkedIn post haste. right? Start advertising those services that we do through RAM Cyber Consulting and Assessments LLC. So that's the parent of the podcast. So back to you, Shannon, for the next topic.
All right, everybody. So for the discussion, this one comes from thinkdigitalpartners.com, written by Christine Horton. And the title of this one is Ransomware Payment Ban. Public sector currently pays out more than anyone else, right? So this was interesting to me because of what it showed. And we've talked about this numerous times on the podcast, right? And so what they're saying here is that this was a survey that was done in the UK, by the way, right? So like when you hear this, like this was the UK that really went into this. And I don't think it's UK specific. I think this is something that is across the globe to where you would get the same type of answers, right?
Yeah, make sure you throw some U's in there that don't necessarily go with the word, right? Like spell color wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Organized, no Z, using the S.
Yeah, yeah. You use the other gray. That's usually the British gray. Like there's GRE, not
Yeah, yeah.
GAY, right? Like, you got to make sure it's the right way. But no, this was interesting because it was a study by Semperis, right? And what they found was that 83% of UK government and public sector organizations paid out to attackers, right? Attackers. Now, this is higher than the 69% rate of companies that did the same across the private sector, right? But when they asked them in the private sector, they were like, no, we don't, we 100, not 100%, but we like 90 some odd percent agree that they should not be paying out in the public sector, right? So they're
Yeah, it was 94%.
94. Yeah, it was high, right? But then when they asked them, well, like if it was to happen to you, like would you pay? They were like, yeah, I would pay. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things where like as long as I'm not in that situation right now, like yeah,
Mhm.
don't pay the money, right? But if it happens to me, yeah, I'm more than likely gonna pay, right? Which is interesting because like I said, we've talked about it on the podcast numerous times where we're like, do not pay out. The analogy you used was feeding stray cats, right? Like if you keep doing it, they're gonna keep coming back to you, right? And they're gonna tell their friends, right? They're gonna be like, hey y'all, look at what I found over here
Mhm.
in this alley. You know what I mean? This alley.
Right, right. They're paying the big bucks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They got that nice Shiba cat food over here, you know what I mean? But no, it's an interesting discussion to be had, right? And I can't say I disagree. I can't say I disagree with what they would say would happen, but if you're following proper cyber hygiene, it should not be a problem for you, right? Like you're doing the backups, you're doing the security you should do to where it's a lot harder for someone to get in there and hold you ransom pretty much, right? Or hold your data ransom. And like I said,
Right.
even though this was a UK survey that they did, I can guarantee you this is across the board where people feel the same way, right? Like they're like, there's no way they should be able to do this, right? Or they should be paying out for this, right? But they're talking about putting a ban out there for the public sectors, right? And so I don't know how much people know about the UK, right? But they have a lot of social programs that everybody pays into to where this would be, it could be kind of, I don't want to say disastrous, but they got public sector organizations like their NHS, which are National Health Service, I think is what it's called in the UK. It's their healthcare thing.
Yes, NHS. It was a type by WannaCry back when they were on, I think they're XP, right? Like it was a severe
It was crippling.
ransomware attack,
Yeah, it was crippling.
and they were paying.
Yeah, yeah, but like, and that's the thing, right? So like, we know better now, and if you're following proper cyber hygiene, and here's the thing, I know the UK has invested money into this, right? When it comes to how to protect systems and things of that nature, right? And they're very ahead of the game when it comes to data privacy and things of that nature, to where it seems like this should be easy enough for them to do and not suffer a lot of consequences if something should happen, right? And again, as with everything, nothing is 100%, right? There, even with all the best cyber hygiene practices, the best patching methods, things of that nature, you can still fall victim when it comes to ransomware, right? But if you keep paying, they will keep coming back, right? Regardless of what they say. How can you trust a criminal, right? Like they're already doing bad stuff.
Right, right. I'm only going to attack you this one time.
Yeah, until they find the
Which
next one.
which was crazy with so with WannaCry, they were setting up call centers. Like they were like legitimately from what was reported, they had the best customer support after they attacked you. For you to pay for the key and then get out of get out of jail basically to be able to take care of your patients and things of that nature, which is pretty ridiculous that they would set those things up. So I think there's a certain amount of trust being fed to people, like because everybody's not like that. And even like first off, I don't care how good your customer service is, you shouldn't attack me to begin with, right? But secondly, who's to say that you're not just lying? Like you the money, you're like, no, that's only half.
Yeah, It is good in practice, right? And you want that money. And how much does it cost to set up a call center, so to speak, right? Like it's just one of those things where the number can be like we've been able to do this since was it Google phone? What was the one where you can get the different number for your
Yeah, it's Google Phone. Yep.
phone? Yeah. Like so it's not like that's even been hard for so long, right? But yeah, the point of all of this is banning organizations, right, from providing ransomware payouts. It does sound good in theory, right? When you actually talk to these people, they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, please don't pay them the money." And then when they're asked directly, like, "Would you pay the money?" "Oh yeah, I'd probably pay the money." You know what I mean? Like if you're in that situation, it's one of those things
Right.
where this is what I would do, right? It's like if somebody does something that you see and you're like, "Man, if that was me, I'd have punched him in the face." You know what I mean? But then when it really happens, you back down like they did. You be like, "Hey man, I don't want no smoke."
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want that. You know what I mean? Same type of premise, you know what I mean? But Ryan, what's your thoughts on it?
No, no, I agree. And from the outside looking in, like, yeah, I can see almost 100% of people saying, like, nah, 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 I wouldn't, we should not pay. But when you're under the gun, right, everybody reacts differently. And when you sit there and hopefully your organization has put together, a robust incident response plan. You have good procedures. Everything's tied to your BOA when it comes to your RPO and RTO. I wouldn't say objectives. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to these metrics and your BIA set up, um, to say like we could be down for this long before we need to, do X or Y. Do we have good backups? Like, all that stuff's robust until it's not. Like if you've not tested it, if it's not been, exercised, and then you get hit, what are you gonna do? You're gonna freak out. You're gonna panic, and you're gonna pay to get out of the situation.
Or with your BIA, you could just be wrong on the amount of damage, like what the actual
Right?
business impact is. Like you thought the business
Yeah.
impact was this, but your analysis was wrong. Like you were
Right.
way off on what it was.
Right. That's why you have to practice. You have to exercise. You have to practice. If you can't do it in house, you need to outsource. But you need to make sure these things work. You have to make sure you have really good backups and that they are, protected from the rest of the backups. So that way you don't lose, the crown jewels, so to speak. But if you're not practicing and exercising, you're gonna fall victim. And when that happens, you're gonna freak out. And you're gonna like now you've wasted all the money to do all this prep that you didn't actually initiate, right? And now you're paying on top of it. And I can see this being a harder pill to swallow, only because usually the UK is just like, nope, you're going to do this, but businesses are going to push back hard on this one because they're going to say like you're hurting the free market, you're hurting a business enterprise by not allowing us to be able to bail ourselves out, basically. So are you going to do it? Like if push comes to shove and we did do our due diligence and we got hit and you're not allowing us to pay, who is going to uh satiate our stockholders, right? Like our stakeholders are still going to want the money that we lost. How do we fix that? So there's a lot of mechanisms happening at one time, so I can see this being a problem. So like from our perspective, like yeah, put the rule together, like don't allow them to pay, because that puts more teeth into actual practice of cybersecurity, right? Like, you're going to have to be top notch. You have to put the money where your mouth is to make sure that when you are hit, that you're able to recover quickly because you cannot pay the ransom. But from a C-suite perspective, they're like, nah, we need to be able to pivot. Like it's all about being fluid, right? If things go awry, I need to be able to bail myself out as quickly as possible, or shift that risk to someone else. What that could be the government, because you told me I could not pay, so now you pay. You fill our coffers back up from the money that we lost, potentially.
But in the UK, like they do a good job of saying, "Hey, these are the things that need to be followed if you are one of our nations in the United Kingdom,
Right.
right?" So like they already are putting things in place to help you when it comes to good cyber hygiene and practices and things of that nature, saying, "This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to protect data. This is if it's going to be released, how you're going to do all of these things." So I think the thinking behind this is that we are giving you a good blueprint, right? Like if you follow our blueprint, if you're doing like you're supposed to be doing, which a lot of the times becomes law over there, right? If you're
Right.
doing this, then you will not have, again, it won't be 100%, but you shouldn't suffer as much as you may be suffering now because you're just going out there doing whatever you want to do, right? So I think that's their thinking behind it, is that because they do, because we don't have that in the States. Like it's depending on what state you're in, it could be different on the rules
Hmm.
that you have to
Or
follow. We don't
non-existent.
have, or non existent. You're right. Or not even there. So over there, it's a little bit different. They get ahead of the game on stuff like that, man. And it's just not the case here in America. So I think that might be the rationale behind them saying, okay, this is why we're going to go this way.
Yeah, so we'll see what the future holds because they move pretty quick, right? It's not going to take years for them to figure this out. We should know something by the end of the year if they're going to push that button or not. And it has been in previous administrations, it has been kind of there in the background where we're talking about businesses should not have the ability to pay. However, it has come back. I think the FBI actually came back. It was either Department of Justice or FBI with concern saying, basically like businesses do need the ability to pivot if necessary. So, there should be provisions written in there basically to allow them under certain circumstances. So I think all that stuff is still being kind of talked about or fleshed out. It hasn't been kind of scrapped for now. So maybe in the next couple of years we'll have something of our own, but most likely it'll be 50 different ones for 50 different states, which I appreciate the energy. However, I think the federal government should just come down and say, here are the baselines, right? And then states can curtail as necessary for their particular industries. But you still need that overhead, like this is what the standard is. And I'm not sure if we're going to get that anytime soon. Because again, not as I don't think it's administration's specific. You just have a lot of um, lobbyists pushing back hard on this one. Just like, nah, we need the ability to pay this ransom to get back up and running as quickly as possible.
So I know they've put rules in place for I want to say it was like 16 pillars. We did a story on it. It wasn't too long.
Mhm.
It was the 16 pillars if you're dealing with anything in the federal government.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it specific to I think it was like critical infrastructure,
Yeah, but critical infrastructure was one of them, but it also had like transportation. It was, what
right?
was
But all
that?
federal leaning
Yeah, yeah.
businesses. Gotcha.
So they're
I
doing
don't
it
know.
for
We're
that.
getting old.
Every week we own it. We out here bringing it to the masses. You know what I mean? So
Right,
a
right.
lot.
We got over 900 episodes. I need to remember every single one. But they're thinking about it, right? So that's good. But companies still need to because there was a lot of articles I skipped over this week because they're kind of all similar. Because we already talked about the CPT teams out of Minnesota, but I think there was like 3 different cities that got hit with ransomware, and their insurer did not pay out, right? Because they didn't do their due diligence. Like one city got hit and they had no MFA, and they were like, "We're not paying for that." So like this, it was tens of millions of dollar bill is now on you. And you've lost all the money you've paid to the insurance company as well because you didn't have, simple best practices up and running. So we're not going to pay the payout. Like you're not getting any insurance money because you didn't do your due diligence. I mean, it is what it
It
is.
was Ontario, right?
Yeah, Ontario was one. I want to say there was another one in uh, it was either Minnesota or St. Paul or something like that, and there was a third one. But they're all very similar. Where insurance companies are like, "Yeah, we're not paying if you don't do the simple things." Because when you pay for cyber insurance, like if you ever look at the underwriting, the policy for a cyber insurance policy, which I do. Like, look, another plug, which I I do assessments to make sure that you're following the guidelines that you paid for, right? It'll tell you like you need to have MFA, you need to have a vulnerability scanner, you need to do pen testing certain times, you need to have, a business continuity plan. It needs to be exercised X amount of, times a year. Like it tells you verbatim what you need to do. So those are your artifacts for when you have to come to them and say, "Hey, we need you to pay." If you check the box and you sign, right, your CEO, your CTO, your CISO, whomever this responsibility was delegated to, sign that document saying we do these things. They are implemented, and then you get hit and you're unable to provide those artifacts, such as like we don't even have MFA, but we said we did. Like, guess what? You're not getting that money. So it's really a waste of your time and effort if you're not following those practices. And if you need someone to help guide you through what you've signed for or what you plan on signing for, hit me up, ramcyber.io. It's a service we provide. Because I don't think a lot of people think about it. And once I saw one, I was like, yo, this is ingenious. Like they literally give you the blueprint, but are you following it? Do you know how to follow it? Do you know how to because if especially if you're mom and pop, you're wearing 18 different hats. Do you have time to sit there and figure out how Google Suite works? How, Microsoft Office 365 should be set up? Maybe not. Maybe you need to outsource that, but I digress.
In essence, they're breaking the contract, right? Like if they say to
Mhm.
you, these are the things you need to do, like you've not honored the contract. Don't try to take them to court because they're not paying out. They'll be like, hey, you signed it saying you would do these things and you didn't do it. Like you had to do
Right.
your part.
Yeah, this we did not pull the rug from underneath you. Like we literally told you what you need to do in order for us to cover you. So it's an easy out for us. But moving on, so got to plug the guide. So definitely pick up your copy of The Other Side of the Firewall, right? Which is a guide that I wrote has 26 interviews, including my own personal story of how these pioneers, these amazing people broke into cybersecurity against all odds or from, very diverse backgrounds and things of that nature. We talk about people of color in cybersecurity, women in cybersecurity, the neurodivergent professionals in cybersecurity, veterans in cybersecurity. So we go through the full gamut. And if that is you or someone you know, definitely pick up the guide. You can pick it up from theothersideofthefirewall.com. So that is theothersideofthefirewall.com. Pick up your copy of the guide as well. But it's also available wherever books are sold. So it hits your boy up. But without further ado, Shannon, how was your week?
Man, it was a good week. My wife's birthday, excuse me,
Oh, okay.
was this past week. So we went out
Happy birthday.
yeah, yeah, I'll let her know. I'll pass it on. We went out to a place we had never been before that had a decent experience, right? Started out really good and then didn't end as great. It's one of those things where you mentioned earlier how, we're getting old, right? We were making fun of like the language that the young folks use now, right? But we went to this place, and it's kind of like a social, I don't want to call it a social club. It's a place where people standing around drinking. Like not everybody's sitting at a table in this restaurant. Some people are
Okay.
standing at a table with their drinks and whatnot. And it's loud. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this. You know what I mean? My wife and I, we're like 3 feet apart from each other across from a table.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I feel like I got to yell. And I'm like, it's too
Yeah,
much.
we have one of those. It's called, oh man, I only been to it once. I think it's called the Sacred Pepper. The same thing. It's like booming loud in there. It's like, yo, the acoustics is not set up for me. I can't take it.
But it's not like it's
Like,
music. It's just that there's so many people having
yeah,
conversations. You know what I mean? Because like
yeah.
I want to say the full name of it has like it's like rooftop social is in the name or something like that.
Mhm.
So like it probably should have keyed me into that, but it had
Yeah,
good ratings, and I was like, let's go do something different. And it was a date night with just the two of us, which we like.
right. It's like going to a conference. You're like, this is overwhelming. Like, I need all y'all to like use your inside voices.
That's why I don't know if I could ever go to concerts or anything like that. Like I've been looking, and we old heads, right? So like John Legend's coming to Colorado.
That's always a good time.
It is, but like the venue he's in is a little smaller, and the tickets are pricey, man. And I'm like, ooh, I
Yeah.
don't know. And and to be honest, we would probably love it, right? Because I think it was a Get Lifted tour, and I was like, yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
okay.
time
Yeah, yeah,
frame,
yeah.
right? But I'm like, I don't know, right? Small venue.
I've been to some of those smaller venues. Like we went to the Constitutional Hall, I want to say is what it's called, but it's in DC. So it's like one of those more smaller, intimate venues. Like he's like right there in front of you. And it was good. It was a good time. Like so, it's different because his music is not. It's not like going to like
It's not a
uh
heavy banger coming through the speakers type of
yeah, like
place.
going to see Run the Jewels or somebody, right? Where the bass is punching you in the chest.
Ooh la la, ah, wee wee. Yeah, no, I feel you. But no, I mean, that's true, right? But like, I don't know, man. It's still one of those things. I mean, the price is another factor too, right? Like, it's like, oh, that's a lot. I like John Legend. I don't know if I like him that much, right?
Right, right,
But yeah, man, it was a good time. We had fun. Can't complain about it. Took the children out yesterday. We went to Dave and Buster's. So like it's their last weekend before school starts, right? So I asked them, I was like, what do y'all want to do? We spent all summer doing this fun stuff, mini vacations, staycations, things of that nature. They're like, Dave and Buster's. I was like, all right, cool. I think they only like it because it's more games in a Dave and Buster's. Like the other venues we go to, they haven't,
right.
but they also have bowling and laser tag and all this. So the arcade's a little smaller. So they were like, Dave and Buster's, there's so many stuff there.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, because I've been to Dave Buster's a long time, but yeah, like they have way more arcade machines than a main event. If you go to main event, it
And
ain't really.
main event is the other one.
Yeah,
So main event is the one that I'm like, I like it better because it has the laser tag and the
right.
bowling.
Yeah, you're doing everything else. There's a couple arcade machines like in
Yeah.
the middle.
So yeah, my youngest son, he's like, I want to do it Dave and Buster's. And my daughter, she don't really care. She's like, yeah, Dave and Buster's, that's fine. But again, larger arcade, larger what do you call it, prize area or whatever, where you can cash in, the tickets or whatever you win, right?
Right.
So that's what we did. We did that, and then we went to a place called Milkshake Factory afterwards.
Ooh,
We'd eaten an early dinner, late lunch. So we had a dinner before that.
right.
We did Dave and Buster's, and then we went to this place called Milkshake Factory. Ooh, it's a good place, man. So yeah, it was pretty good. Media watching, I got a little bit in. I actually had to write them down this time because I was like, wait a minute, let me see what I've done. Right. So my wife and I watched this movie called Heads of State. It's got Idris Elba and John Cena in it.
Okay. Yeah, I seen the trailer.
Yeah, it's okay. It's got some funny parts, but it's like, it's not exactly what I was expecting. So it was okay. And then I got into like a Jean Claude Van Damme loop, man, where I started watching these Van Damme things. Like I started seeing the thumbnails come up, and I was like,
Right.
I haven't seen a Jean Claude Van Damme movie in a little while. So I started with Time Cop, and I'm like,
Yeah, I was gonna say Time Cop. Is where you did the splits on the chair.
every movie, it's in every movie.
He's gonna fit some splits in there. Yeah.
100%. And like when he did it, he didn't need to do it, right? Because like he jumped up on the counter to keep from getting electrocuted, and like does I was like,
Right.
dude, you could just jumped up like Frog jumped up on your counter and just
Nah,
get electrocuted. He's
nah.
like, no, I'm gonna do it.
I don't train for these splits for nothing.
Yes, yes. You know what I mean? It's wild, right? So like Jean Claude, he's it seems like he's always doing some type of dancing. He's doing splits every time. He always has the slow motion. That's his thing. But yeah, man. So I watch Time Cop, and again, these are folks. These aren't the best movies. They don't hold up really. And like realize this is the 80s and 90s was his time frame, right?
Right.
But watch that one. Watch Lionheart. Which Lionheart, I don't remember it being that way. Like as I watched it this time, I was like, I do not remember this being the premise of the movie when I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. It helped me remember that one. Kickboxer, another classic of his, right?
Oh yeah.
Watching
Yep.
Kickboxer when he trains to defeat Tong Po, which is crazy because I didn't realize this. So Tong Po from Kickboxer is also one of the guys that was in Lionheart. I don't know if you remember Lionheart, but one of the guys that was chasing him from France. It's the same guy. They just made his makeup make him look more Asian in a Kickboxer.
Really.
Be Tong Po.
Yeah.
Same guy. Yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. I watched this movie years ago. Never even clicked to me.
Mm.
Bloodsport, another one. It's a classic. Watch that one again. I don't know why I'm on the kick, and even now I'm like, what else can I watch? Even though they're not good movies, I'm like,
Street Fighter. You gotta do Street Fighter. It's
yo,
terrible.
Street Fighter. That's true. That's true. Right. That's Raul Julia's last role too, right? Before
Yeah.
he died.
And he was the only good part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I gotta find that one. I'm only watching the ones I don't have to rent or buy, though, right? So, like, if I'm
Oh, okay,
watching them
gotcha.
and I gotta rent or buy it, I'm like, nah, it ain't that serious, right? I don't
Yeah.
need to see it that bad.
What's the one with him and Rodman? What's that one? It's like somehow twins or something?
Double. No, I
I
did
wanna say
watch.
double I wanna say Double Dragon, but it's not Double Dragon. It
No,
can't be,
I
because that's the name
watched.
of a game.
Yeah, I watched Double Impact too. Double Impact was one of the other ones I watched where he plays his twin.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
What is the name of that one? Because that wasn't a good one either.
No, it's terrible. I
Because
think Rodman does a roundhouse kick in it though. That was kinda cool.
Double Team, Double
Double
Team.
Team.
Yeah,
There
Double
it is.
Team is the name of it. Yeah. So if I find that one, I'll probably watch that one too. But no, I'm just on a kick for it. I don't know why, man. Yeah, Bloodsport. Then I watched the Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson movie, The Pickup. That was a
Oh, yeah, how was that?
It's not bad. And you know what I'm
Okay.
noticing more of in his newer movies that he's doing? Eddie Murphy doesn't play the typical comic like he used to, right? Like he'd be funny, he'd be doing something that you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy. He's kind of playing the straight guy that's kind of like he kind of reminds me of how De Niro does comedy, right? Where like you don't kind of
Ah,
expect it and he does something that you're just like, oh, that's funny because you don't expect it from him. But like Pete Davidson is the one that's providing a lot of the jokes.
okay.
It's not bad. Kiki Palmer, I was telling my wife this when we were watching it. I was like, I can't, like, even when I hear her, I still think of a little girl. I still think
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
right?
Same way.
It's just what's in my head, and she sounds
It's that
like a little girl.
it's that whole generation. So it's like it's Kiki Palmer, Ariana
Yeah.
Grande, because I used to watch her on Sam and Cat with my daughter. And it's there's another actress that's is it Zendaya? Was she a Disney kid too? Or something like
Zendaya?
that? Yeah, wasn't Zendaya on one of those kid shows?
That I don't remember.
Like the not the Pride Family, that's a cartoon, but I remember her being in a little kid show. So all of them are still little kids to me.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like she is a grown woman with a child, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you still sound like a little girl to me, you know?
Yeah, nah, I don't accept it. If I watch you with like, because I don't accept my daughter, she's 19, she'll be 20.
Bro.
Nah, I don't accept it. I rebuke it.
I remember her as a young girl, man. Just like I see
It's
pictures of
crazy,
her
right?
now and I'm like, oh my gosh.
He's a whole grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And same thing with your daughter. I was like, nah.
Yeah. Like she got a few more tattoos than she used to have back then too. A few of them,
Right.
all of them. She didn't have any
Right. I was gonna say,
back then.
because I think she babysat one time, so she was like a teenager
Yeah.
or what have you. Now she grown up, man. Yeah, it's wild. Like my a junior, like he goes to the gym now like regularly. Like he loves going to the gym, which is crazy to me. Like he walked in the room the other day. I was like, yo, this dude get kind of diesel. I
That
don't
boy,
like it.
that boy's big. You got a problem on your hands if you say something you don't like. You got a problem on your hands. Golly.
Listen, that pride strength will kick in. I ain't worried about it.
Oh no, you might be the old lion. You don't know, man. You might be the old lion.
Man, we getting old. It's crazy.
For sure, man. For sure. What else? I watched the old Total Recall. Schwarzenegger. I saw that one.
Oh, it's always a good one.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. I watched that one. I was like,
It's always a good one.
okay. Yeah.
And when their eyes are bulged out their head because there's no oxygen.
Yes. Yes.
He's like,
Like, you know something I noticed? Like I was watching the scene, so you know when he's in the airport and he takes the head off?
yeah.
Like when he does that, the head, his normal head, was supposed to be his normal head, is also a prosthetic. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
No, I never noticed it.
If you watch that scene again, when the
That's
head
funny.
comes off, like in the airport, that's the bomb. When he lifts it up and you look at his head, it's a fake head.
Yeah.
One that's supposed to be his little. I never noticed it before, but you could tell when you look at it. You're like,
That's hilarious. So like when I did notice because I watched it, oh man, a long time ago. But when I was a kid, remember the scene with the lady has 3 breasts? Like
yeah,
that was like
yeah.
mind blowing, right? For like a little kid, little boy. It's paper mache. You watch this?
I could believe it. I could believe it. I can believe it. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's wild. Some of the stuff you just and I've seen that movie numerous times before, and I never paid attention. I think maybe I was just paying attention. They distracted me like a magician would, right? Like I was paying attention to
Yeah,
the
that magic.
over his head. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay. And you look at the other, and it's weird because like his head, that's supposed to be his head, doesn't move, but it's like sideways like this, and it's kind of got like it kind of looks like The Rock doing the squinty.
Oh man, it's funny.
It's like, find the scene. I'm gonna find the scene like on YouTube or something and send it to you and be like,
Right.
watch the bottom head. But that's pretty much it for me, man. Like that's kind of what I did this week. How about you, man?
Not much. So mine will be pretty quick. So I finished Expedition 33 finally. So Clear Obscure Expedition 33. It's a JRPG like, right? It's like a Final Fantasy, but very, very modern, very much action oriented in that you can block and parry during the other person's turn. Still turn based, right? You go, then I go, then you go, and then later on you get to cheat systems like you go, but then I get to go 3 times because I, broke the game basically. Amazing. So I would say be careful if you are not into sadness. It is very, very sad, very melancholy, right? Like it's a very French. It's got like a bunch of French music. Every now and then, the characters, which are voiced by, you got Ben Starr, Andy Serkis, Daredevil. What's his name in real life?
Charlie
Charlie Cox.
Cox. Yeah.
Yeah, you have all these big names voicing these actors, which is amazing. Like I said, amazing score. It looks great. So it's based on the Unreal 5 engine. Small team. I think it's a team of only 33 people. That's why I call it Expedition 33. And it's baked into the game too. But there's a lot of meta in the game that's based upon their experience trying to get the game out the door as well. Amazing. So I think it says I put in 56 hours. I could probably been done in 40, but I did a lot of side stuff. And there's a lot
coming around to that. I see, man. You used to just be the mainline guy. You're like,
yeah. And there's more stuff I could do too, but I'm done with it. Right. Once I see the ending, because I pulled the ending the night before last, and I was like, I might jump back in. I didn't. I started playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? Because I put that one down. So that and Donkey Kong, I'm still on that Donkey Kong kick. So I'm pretty much done with it, but definitely worth it. I think so. I played through Game Pass, so it's part of the subscription on Xbox and PC. But if you want to play it on your PS5, I think it's like $50. So it's a steal for the amount of content you get out of it and how good it looks. Like it has a bargain price, but it's definitely not a bargain product. Top tier. So I highly recommend it. But again, if you don't feel like being sad, don't play this game. Because it will make you sad.
did Robot Ryan shed a tear? Like that's not a thing. Okay, all right.
No, it was like does not compute. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And then movie wise, I tried to finish War of the Worlds by Amazon. It is super terrible. I've been sending Shannon Levine clips. It's terrible. It's part Amazon ad, part I don't know what to call it. But you brought up a good point. The movie is terrible regardless. However, it was shot during COVID times. That's why none of the cast is with each other. Like it's very sparse. There's not a lot of people. They make sure that they put it through a modern lens where everybody's online looking at this event. So it makes sense now. Like this is a COVID movie. It should have came out earlier. They didn't do themselves any services by holding on to it for as long as they did. Because I know it's like maybe they're going for like leaning into the terribleness. Like we spent all this money. It's gonna like it had to have reviewed terribly, right? In house screenings had to be garbage as well. They're like just release it and people will watch it based upon its horribleness. So hey, can't knock them.
It really does seem like that was part of the discussion. I think they probably wanted to shelve it and we're like, no, we can't. Like, we did invest money into it. It's what it is. Let's just eat. Let's just eat it, right? Like, it's probably one of those things where they're like, hey, we've made enough money this year to where we can release this and take the loss, right?
Yeah, right,
We've
right,
we've, we've purchased MGM. We've had success with Accountant 2, and what's another? They had another Amazon movie that came out that wasn't bad. So they probably could take the loss and maybe.
right. Because how much money would they make by writing it down, right? Like when companies do shelve things like the Batwoman movie or the Acme versus something, I forget. That's coming out though. Like they finally reversed course on that, the WB movie with Wiley the Coyote in it. Like sounds terrible in
I never
premise,
heard of that.
but yeah, it was shelved and people were outraged by it. They're like, just release the movie. So I think it's like the Snyder cut. It's being released now.
Is it anime?
So well, it's Looney Tunes in a real world. It's one of those type of movies. So I'll probably check it out. But I could not finish War of the Worlds. I got to the second in universe ad for like send the Amazon drone to Ice Cube because he didn't have a thumb drive. And I was like, I'm out. I was like the dude from Simon Cowell and
America's Got Talent.
yeah. For those reasons, I'm out. No, not America's Got Talent, American
Uh,
Idol. American
American
Idol, yeah.
Idol. Yeah.
So I had to put chalks on that one. But I've watched several times K-pop. Uh, oh man, what's it called?
Demon Hunters or something like that.
Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters. So it's a Sony animated joint, CG, and my nieces are like it's like their thing. So I've watched it in its entirety twice, but I've seen bits and pieces at least 6 times. Not bad. Like they do a really good job. Like the soundtrack is a banger, right? And the animation is like top tier. I was like, okay, it might not necessarily be by the same team that did the Spider-Man animated joints, but they're adjacent. Like it's got some action scenes. I'm like, that's pretty impressive. Like, yeah, y'all really did put your foot in this movie, and it's doing really well. I think it's still in the top 10. It's been out for like a month or so. But I saw the thumbnails and I was like, I don't know if this is really for them. But my niece was listening to the soundtrack on YouTube Kids. She was like, can I see this? I was like, yeah, sure. So I sat there and watched it. And then the second time, my daughter was walking by. She caught her attention. So then it's my 19-year-old daughter, me, and my 6-year-old niece all watching it. I was like, this is pretty awesome. So it was definitely worth it to watch the second time.
I've seen my boys watching it, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's weird.
It's got a lot of action.
Their age difference is different too. Like, there's 10 years between them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. I would say if you have not watched it yet, it's at least worth watching one time. Just if you like, action, comedy, animation, that's like really like top tier animation. And I'm telling you, like the music, I was like, okay, they got some dope songs in here.
I'm not a K-pop fan. I'm assuming it's K-pop because it's
It's K-pop,
anime,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
But it's in English.
some people, I get it, but some people like it, and I'm just like, maybe not for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's basically like what was on the radio in the early 2000s. Is basically where they're at, right? Like with the boy bands. It's like when NSYNC and Backstreet Boys would come up and all that stuff. It's like that, but yeah, obviously more modern.
I don't know if my taste in music is changing, man, because like I'm a very big Clips fan, right? Like, and I've told you
Yeah.
this. Like the new album, there are some songs on it, but I'm not high on it like everyone else seems to be.
Yeah, it's only like 3 songs.
I, I,
That like
I'm up to 5 now. That's the thing. I'm up
okay.
to 5 now, right? Like there's one you were like, yo, I like this, and I was like, nah, I didn't like it on the first listen. I listened to it again. I'm like, all right, I like it a little bit better. Let me throw it on.
Right.
But like I'm up to 5 now, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why. It doesn't do it for me like everything else. And like to hear other people tell it, they're like, oh, this is better than old clips. And I'm like, no,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
no. It's a little wild for me. But yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
I think my taste in music is changing to where it's just
Yeah, it's the same thing with Tyler the Creator. Like he has a crazy feature on the Clips album, but I listened to his album and everybody's raving about it. And I was just like just one time. So I listened to one time. I'll have to pick it up no more.
he always comes off as in a weird space to me, right? Like
Yeah,
his feature on POV is off the chain. I'm like, I ain't never heard you like this, right? Like okay.
Yeah, he said he did like he joked 78 times, but he was like he wanted to make sure these are my idols. So I was like, that's what's up. So yeah, he had a really good feature. But then Kendrick's feature on it is just okay. That's the one that's on the radio.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
So I don't know. But I gotta land this plane, do some landscaping, right? Drop some mulch and do some edging and what have you. The joys of home ownership and being in your 40s. So that's the way it goes. But definitely continue to tune in. Again, I always forget to say, go check out the book You can actually look at a preview, whether it be the digital version or the hard copy at your book platform of choice, whether it be Amazon or Barnes and Noble or what have you. You can preview some pages, but if you want to buy it at a discount, buy it from me. You can buy it at theothersideofthefirewall.com. It's theothersideofthefirewall.com. It's on the main page for now, but the website's being overhauled to be more integrated, right? So we'll have services on there, we'll have the podcast on there, and as well as articles and blogs and things of that nature. Revamping the whole thing. You can hit us up at the websites that go by our name, either the other side of the firewall.com or ramcyber.io. You can check us out on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. East Coast time on 99.1 FM in the Atlanta metro area, or the TuneIn app. You can check us out on, we don't really have a time slot per se, on Channel 10 public access in Fairfax, DC area. We got some more episodes coming out on that one in the very near future. And then you can obviously check us out on your podcast platform of choice. We're no longer a daily podcast for now. Anyway, I'm trying to experiment with this season and see how people do the hour format. And then, yeah, we pop up in various places, right? So I'm trying to get us out there. I did not go to DEF CON or anything like that this year, but I'm going to start going to more conferences because I need to do that and talk to my peers and find out, that breaking news and things of that nature and talk about that. So look for that in the future. But right now, I got to go tend to this lawn. Definitely continue to check us out. Stay safe, stay secure.